As we've seen previously, many people find that an objective view of morality ought to be impartial. It should apply to everyone, not just to oneself. We should be motivated by everyone's well being, not just one's own well being. And if this is the case, if this is what we mean by an objective view of morality, it looks like we're going to have to face certain problems. Specifically, we have a problem known as the self-alienation objection. So that's what we're going to consider now. I want you to consider following sort of situation. Think of a hypothetical case where you have to choose between saving a stranger from a burning building or saving your dog or maybe your cat. Which of these two would you save? I think most people would say they would save the stranger, since the stranger is another human being. Even though you love your dog or your cat very much, nonetheless, there's something about being a human being that we think is very important. Of course, some people would say, I love my dog so much. My dog is a member of my family. And so it would be like choosing a stranger over my brother or sister or my child, maybe. Okay, well, in that case, what if the choice was between saving a close friend, or maybe your sister, or maybe your own mother, and a dog? I think in that case, it's pretty clear that you would save your friend or your family member rather than your dog. Why? What is it about your mom that why you would save them instead of your dog? Well, I think there's something about being related to them, being a human being. They brought you into the world, or if it's a close friend, they've always been there for you. And this seems to suggest that when we are looking out for the well being of others, we're also interested in the people that are close to us. We're motivated in a self interested kind of way. But why is that the case? Many philosophers, and I think a lot of lay people in general, they see morality as applying to everyone. And that's what it means for it to be objective. It should apply universally, equally to everyone, no matter who you are, no matter to whether you're a dog or a close friend. But we need to try to get clear about what exactly it means to say that morality or well being would apply to everyone equally. This is known as an impartial view of morality. A fully impartial view of morality would tell us that, for instance, it would be wrong to spend money on some small thing like buying a coffee or buying some new shoes, instead of sending that money to save the life of some starving child, maybe on the other side of the world. We could easily do this by donating to UNICEF or some other organization where we can help other people. We may not know them. They may be like the stranger in the burning building. Nonetheless, it seems like it would be a far better thing to do than simply spend that money on a coffee or some new shoes. What is the worth of a coffee? What is the worth of some new shoes in comparison to the life of a starving child? And so if morality is supposed to be objective, we should be far more interested and motivated to save the life of a starving child than buying new shoes for ourselves or going to dinner with our friends. Of course, you might think that, sure, this is an excellent ideal. We just cannot live our lives this way. This is just too much to ask. Is it really, all that realistic to think that we could actually go about our lives in this way? When we really consider what motivates us, what drives us to do certain things in our lives, it looks like we're motivated by a wide range of things. Right? We have motivations of all sorts, some of which are directed at the way the world might be better, and others are not. Some of our motivations have to do with our close friends, our family, and how their lives might be better. But a fully impartial view of morality would suggest that it would be morally wrong to be motivated by all these different self-interested sorts of things like playing the guitar or playing sports. If you're on a soccer team, how is that making the world better? You may really want to play soccer, but is that really going to, go about making the world better? Is it helping everyone's well-being? Or what about simply going to a museum? looking at art, or maybe going to a concert, or participating in a community playhouse. My daughter is very involved in drama and she loves it. This is something she gets a lot of enjoyment. Are these sorts of things morally wrong because these people are motivated by self-interested goals and desires rather than helping the world at large? Well, a fully impartial view says that we should be motivated by helping everyone. And so these things would be morally good only if doing them would contribute to making the world a better place for everyone. And if they don't, then it wouldn't really be all that acceptable. Otherwise, these self-interested motivations would only be a kind of a distraction. There's something that's keeping us or preventing us from doing what we really ought to be doing, which is helping everyone. So again, this is known as the self-alienation objection. It claims that when we try to live a life that's fully dedicated to this kind of impartiality, this way of thinking about helping everyone, keeping everyone's well being in mind, doing so actually results in some sort of alienation where we are alienated from ourselves. Right? It seems like it's not practical. We cannot live our lives this way. It leads to various psychological harms. And when we recognize this, then we can see that in the very act of trying to live a life of impartiality, which this sort of view of morality seems to claim is needed or required, well, this ends up harming oneself. And that would undermine the very motivation of improving the overall well being of everyone because we would exclude our own motivations. We wouldn't be able to take our own self interest into account. We should be motivated to help everyone, not merely ourselves. But in doing so, we would have to exclude helping ourselves. Now, to see why this is such a big worry for this kind of view, think about the following sort of case. Consider a situation where you must choose between going to a soup kitchen to help the homeless or going to visit your sick friend who's in the hospital. Clearly, going to the soup kitchen would help more people in this case than just the one friend that you. But now let's suppose that the soup kitchen is entirely full and they don't have any room for you to help on this particular day. So you decide to go visit your friend in the hospital instead. Suppose that your friend says to you, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. What would you say in response to this? Would you really respond by saying, yeah, I'm glad I came too, but it was just the fact that the soup kitchen was full. If the soup kitchen wasn't full, I would have done that instead because I can help more people that way. My guess is you probably would not respond that way. But why not? If an objective morality requires this sort of impartiality, then that seems like what your appropriate motivation should be in this case. Arguably, the reasons why it seems so absurd, though, is because we do think that it's fine to be motivated to act in these selfish, self-interested sort of ways that are not fully impartial. There's nothing wrong with wanting to visit your sick friend simply because they are your friend. We don't normally think that you must be motivated to help as many people as you possibly can, even if that means that you can't go visit your sick friend in the hospital. If that's right, well, then a view of morality that's grounded in this sort of impartiality, where we're concerned with the well-being of as many people as possible, the well-being of everyone, well, that sort of view is just not plausible after all. And of course, if this kind of view of impartiality is not plausible, well, that would be a problem for the claim that morality is objective insofar as it should apply to everyone equally. We should be motivated to help everyone equally. We can't be realistically motivated to help everyone in this way. We do need to be interested in ourselves. We need to take our own interests into consideration. And so that's what this self alienation objection is trying to show.